The topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Welcome to my radio and TV show, Debi Changes Lives. I'm Debi, your certified holistic health coach. I vitalize people's lives by helping them identify the root causes of their health and mindset and create a custom natural holistic strategy to address them in the areas of mind, body, and soul. As a health coach, I'm not allowed to say I cure, treat, heal, or prevent, or diagnose any diseases. I can certainly make your body more efficient by reducing symptoms. You'll feel better, be more productive, and enjoy life more. Not many people have released 70 pounds, had a health and mindset transformation, and kept fit and trim for over a decade. I have, and I have staying power. It's been over 12 years. I even became a half marathon runner at the age of 51 when I never ran from child to adulthood due to foot pain. And I have done 9 half marathons so far. Mindset is the key to lasting change. As a certified holistic health coach, I do revitalize people's lives in many different areas of health and mindset. I guide them to clean, toxic-free foods and high-quality essential nutrients. My coaching is for optimizing health, whatever is needed, releasing weight efficiently when needed, and enhancing your mindset. With my clients, I help them recognize that their thoughts, feelings, and emotions drive their actions and results, sometimes good, sometimes bad. That's why it's crucial to have a positive mindset in life. It's also imperative to manage those low vibrational emotions like fear, frustration, and doubt, because all that's going to do is slow you down and get you stuck physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Like a hot air balloon that has ballasts, I help my clients release those emotional ballasts and baggage so they can uplift to a better, happier, healthier life. In turn, they are releasing their stress. They're getting healthier, and they're reshaping their core beliefs. You'll see and feel the differences with my coaching programs. Ask me about them. Set up a complimentary consultation at Debi Changes Lives. That is DEBI CHANGES LIV as in Victory ES /Linktree LINKTRE, or use that QR code. And I'll guide you to that better, happier, healthier life with custom, natural, unique solutions to you in the areas of mind, body, and soul. Today, I am honored to have back Dr. Joanne Conaway, a naturopathic physician. She is an international acclaimed speaker and also an author. She wrote, "Why is America So Sick? Linking Digestive Health to Immunity and Hormonal Issues." And you can get it at www.drconaway.com. Also, there's a QR code there. Dr. Conaway's background includes a Bachelor of Science degree, you can next slide, in nursing in 1976. She's a nurse involved in ER, trauma, operating rooms, critical care, infection control, cardiac care, and nursing and management. She spent several years as a nutritional support nurse, helping patients that were feeding only nutrition through a feeding tube. That sparked her passion to help educate others on the importance of a healthy diet and digestive system. She's also a retired lieutenant colonel, serving 20 years in the U.S. Air Force and Reserves. Many of those years, she was an aero medical evacuation nurse. And being comfortable about treating patients following the mainstream medical model, she decided to, because she was because she was all into the all-natural approach, she decided to retire from nursing and became a naturopathic physician. So today we're going to be speaking about, are parasites causing your bloating and brain fog? You can take down the slide. Let's welcome Dr. Joanne Conaway, a naturopathic physician, speaker, and a author of Why America is So Sick. Back to my show. Dr. Joanne.
Hi there.
Hi.
I'm happy to be with you again. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're so knowledgeable. Your knowledge needs to be shared. So that's the whole purpose of this my podcast.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, we're going to be talking about parasites. So many people blame parasites for bloating and brain fog. How can someone tell the difference between a parasite issue and problems like malabsorption or gut dysbiosis? Sorry, as I spit that out.
Well, you know, it's interesting that you asked that question. And one of the things that I'm going to say is, first of all, it's not always easy to tell the difference. And the reason I say that is because so many of the symptoms that are the same, or so many of the symptoms are actually the same symptoms for both. Okay. When we talk about people who have gut issues, and this is one of the big reasons why when I work with people, I usually have them start with repairing their gut first, because I don't necessarily say parasites is the answer. Okay. I usually start with them helping to actually take care of the parasites, or take care of the gut first. Make sure that that gut balance is okay. And that does, of course, you know, include making sure that we do the gut protocol I've talked about on your show so many times before, knowing that the gut protocol is so critically important to overall health, and recognizing that there's not dysbiosis going on, I think is first and foremost. Now, when people have symptoms, we know that they have parasites, or they say to me, I've been diagnosed with parasites. That's when we turn to a parasite protocol. Now, I will also say this, I usually will have people do the gut protocol a couple of times. And if their symptoms get markedly improved, then let's address the dysbiosis issue. If their symptoms do not get markedly improved, that's when I suggest they do a parasite cleanse. Now, I will also say this, and this is one of the things that I think is important for people to understand. It's not going to hurt you to do a parasite cleanse. So if you have an issue, or you suspect it might be parasites, or you know you've been exposed to parasites, better out than in. Let's just go after the parasites. Now, people say, oh, well, I've always been told that I don't have parasites unless I've been to a third world country and maybe been exposed to water, or, you know, in some of, that's so not true. And what we now know is researchers are telling us that about 85% of us have parasites. And that's all of us. Now, there are some researchers out there that say 100% of us have parasites. If you're walking, taking nutrition, you have parasites. And that's because we are exposed to parasites from various different avenues, okay? One of the first things that I try to help people understand is when we start importing foods from all over the world, some of those foods from all over the world come to us, and they're not always necessarily the cleanest, and come to us with parasites. That's how we get parasites. Another way is if people have pets, and people don't always think about this, but you know, if you consider the fact that most vets will tell us, okay, get your parasites, you know, under control by getting your animals dewormed a couple times a year. So we know animals have parasites, and people say, oh, well, you know, my dog is only out when I take him out, and that's that. You know, animals are into everything. And when we talk about animals being into everything, one of the things we need to understand is even if you're watching them very closely, they can still get into things. You know, I watch my dogs very closely, and I find them with their nose to the ground all the time. For what reason? Is it droppings from another animal? What is it? And so we consider that they have parasites. Now, how do our pets share their parasites? Well, let's say they defecate in the yard, okay? So you're very good about cleaning up after them. However, you walk through the yard barefoot, and even if you cleaned up after them, you might pick up parasites they left behind. Another thing, and most people don't like me talking about this, but if you allow your pet to lick your feet, your ankles, your face, you know, those puppy kisses are so darn cute. I have never allowed puppy kisses, and it's because I know that's a way they can share their parasites. If you allow your animal on your furniture or in your bed with you, they can share their parasites with you. So these are things we need to understand. Now, the other thing that we've learned is sometimes our water supply delivers parasites to us. So when researchers talk about all of us having parasites, maybe that's not so far from true. Maybe we do all have parasites. So trying to decide and discern the difference between dysbiosis and parasites sometimes is very difficult because many of the symptoms are exactly the same. And so, like I say, I usually start out with my gut protocol and have people repeat that. And if they're still having symptoms, then we go to parasites. When people say, hey, you know, I'm not going to take the risk, I just want to do a parasite cleanse, all the better. Again, better out than in, and it's not going to hurt you. The parasite cleanse that we do.
Very true. And what's interesting is that for me, I've actually knew I had parasites only because I noticed when there was a full moon and new moon, I was having more bowel issues. And so, and that's because I was educated by you.
Sure.
And the doctors couldn't find anything, but it's like, well, I have something. So that's when I did the cleanse. So it's really important just to pay attention to how your bowel moves are misbehaving, so to speak, and do something about it.
Oh, sure. And, you know, especially you bring up the full moon and people say, oh, that's just hogwash. No, it's not hogwash. And we've always known that the full moon, the actual pull, the gravitational pull, actually disrupts certain fluids in the body. We've always known that. But research, now that people are paying a little bit more attention and doing a little bit more research into parasites, research has shown us that during the full moon, melatonin levels drop and serotonin levels rise. Melatonin levels are critically important, of course, for sleep and so forth, but melatonin is also very important to help to support a healthy immune system. Serotonin rising actually aggravates and encourages the parasites to do more of what they like to do. And it's really interesting when we look at it from that perspective and recognize that they have serotonin receptors that actually make them more aggressive and make them where they're going to do. And it's not just in the gut. You know, that's the other thing that we have to think about. We don't have just gut parasites. Parasites can be anywhere throughout the body. I've worked with people who have had parasites come out through their eyes, through their skin. Oh, through their eyes is not a pretty sight, but it happens, okay? Through their skin, it's just unbelievable. So we have to look at addressing parasites from several different perspectives and the actual symptoms that they cause.
Exactly. Now, when someone has parasites, and we've been kind of discussing this, but what happens to your digestive system, and how can it interfere with nutrient absorption as well as contribute to symptoms like fatigue and brain fog?
Well, we know that not all parasites act the same, first and foremost, okay? But what some parasites do is they actually impact the gut-brain axis specifically, which is the vagus nerve. That causes systemic inflammation. What they can also do is they can interfere with nutrient absorption. And the reason they do that is depending upon the parasite or the type of parasite, they may want the nutrition you're taking in. So for example, if you're taking in a healthy diet and you're still having issues or problems, let's say you still have some periodic diarrhea or sometimes constipation, bloating, gas, maybe you are trying to lose weight and it's just not coming off, that might be because even if you're eating a healthy diet, they're snagging it. They're taking that nutrition to sustain themselves. So you're not getting that nutrition. The other thing we know is that they also release toxins into the body. And those toxins can impact us in various different ways. And so they can impact our digestion by actually being there, snagging our nutrition. They can impact our absorption by stealing those nutrients, and they can also impact the rest of us because of their release of toxins into our systems.
That's amazing. Very active little buggers, aren't they?
Well, they really are. They really are. But you know, these toxins travel through the bloodstream, and they can end up other places in the body.
Wow. Now, you spent years teaching about cellular nutrition and gut function. Why is restoring the gut environment so important, especially after addressing parasites?
Okay, once you've addressed parasites, you've usually done a good cleanse. And that good cleanse will address the parasites and sometimes will have a negative impact on the balance of bacteria in the gut. We also always talk about you've got to have ample amounts of good, healthy bacteria, not an overgrowth of bad bacteria. So when we talk about cleaning out the parasites, sometimes we clean out some of that good bacteria. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we circle back around and now repair the gut. Now, having said that, one of the things that we know is parasites can damage the gut lining. Parasites can create that situation called leaky gut, where things leak out of the digestive system into the circulatory system. So once we get the parasites out of the way, once we get them and their eggs and larvae and all of that out of the way, then we need to make sure that we reestablish that good, healthy balance. We know that probiotics, for example, are important to help to restore the gut lining, help to rebuild the gut lining. You know, when people do the gut protocol that we talk about so often on the show, what we know is the collagen will also help to repair that gut lining. So what we need to do is we need to realize that we've removed parasites. By so doing, we may have disrupted some of that microbiome, some of that good balance. So let's repair it. Let's take care of it.
Okay. Now, this is kind of leading up to something, but what are some of the biggest mistakes people make when they try to eliminate their parasites on their own? And what is a natural, sustainable approaches you recommend instead?
Okay, so a lot of times people will go out and they'll do their research on the internet, you know, and of course, all the answers on the internet to some people are the answers I'm looking for, okay? And so every once in a while, what I find is I'll work with people and they will have gone out to do something that the internet told them to do. And they may have horrific die-off symptoms because they don't realize that what they're doing is literally causing those critters to actually, they themselves die and release toxins and poisons into the system. And so sometimes people will have a severe die-off reaction. That die-off reaction can feel like horrific flu symptoms, sometimes general malaise, that fatigue that just won't go away. I can't get off the couch. Oh my gosh, what have I done to myself? This is important to understand. And so the approach that we take not only kills off the parasites, but it also helps with that constant cleaning out of the system, that constant drainage of the system so that you don't experience the die-off reaction. Now, a lot of people say, oh, well, I don't worry about the die-off reaction. I just read that I can use activated charcoal or I can use some other binder. Well, you could, but when you use the herbal formula that we recommend in our parasite protocol, that's taken care of, okay? That is actually taken care of because that specific formulation helps to, again, open those drainage pathways and move things out. So I think it's important for people to understand, don't just read what's on the internet and just jump into any protocol that's on the internet. It's not safe or healthy to do that. And the protocols that we recommend have been proven. They don't just get gut parasites. They get parasites throughout the entire body. You know, a lot of people are sometimes surprised by the fact that you can have parasites in the brain. Yeah, you can. And I have literally worked with 3 people who had those symptoms. They had parasites on the brain, sadly enough. And so what did that mean for them? Unfortunately, these people suffered with horrific symptoms for a long time because, excuse me, they were dealing with conventional medicine practitioners who were of the opinion that they wouldn't have parasites if they had not been out of this country. They wouldn't have parasites if they had not been to a third world country and been exposed. And so they suffered with symptoms, and these symptoms were pretty profound. All three of them were disabled because they had horrific headaches, they had blurred vision, they had restlessness, they could not sleep at night, ringing in the ears, all different issues and problems. And once it was determined that they in fact had parasites on the brain, and we did this parasite protocol, guess what? Symptoms went away. They got better. They're all back to work. They're all leading normally healthy lives. What a wonderful experience for us. A miserable experience for them. And so oftentimes this is what will happen because conventional medicine has not come to the realization that you don't have to have been to a third world country to have parasites. A lot of times that's not what they look for. And so these people have symptoms treated for months, years at a time. Go to the doctor, have the symptoms treated. My symptoms aren't getting any better, doc. Well, maybe you need to consider it's all in your brain, but they're looking at it all in the brain from the psychological perspective. Truly, it's all in the brain, but what it is parasites in the brain, not that you're crazy. And so what we need to do is we need to help to educate more people about the fact that there are parasites and about the prevalence of parasites, and help people recognize, once again, it's not going to hurt to do our parasite protocol. It's not going to hurt you in any way. And, I personally do it at least a couple of times a year. Is it because I'm exposed to parasites? Well, probably I am, because from time to time I like sushi, ceviche, steak tartare. It's not what I eat all the time, but it is what I enjoy. And so knowing I may well have parasites, why not do a parasite cleanse and get rid of them?
Makes a lot of sense. When we approach, to make your digestive system more healthier, there's actually very practical steps to do that. That you discuss, not to do the extreme cleanses. So why don't you discuss the protocol that we have, and you have plenty of time.
Okay, but first of all, I want to go back just for a minute to the brain fog thing, because people will say, can parasites cause brain fog? This is one of your original questions, and we really didn't get into it very much. The answer to that is absolutely, okay? And a lot of people don't realize, once again, we're talking about issues and problems that many people have, especially older people. And interestingly enough, what we're learning is sometimes all these issues and problems are not related to just your age. So oftentimes when people have issues like forgetfulness or brain fog, or I lose my keys 10 times a day, the immediate response is, you're just getting old. Well, let's not just chalk it up to just getting old. Could it be something else? Could it be parasites? Now, it can be several things, and I'm not going to blame everything on parasites. It could be several things. But if you're, for some reason, having unexplained fatigue, and even though you've had a good night's sleep, you're just not able to get through the day. You're just fatigued, and you have this brain fog, and things just don't seem to be going right for you. What if people have that seeming brain fog and digestive issues associated with that? Well, there's a really good chance that you have parasites, because many parasites cause digestive issues. Again, we have parasites that cause other issues throughout the body, but many parasites cause digestive issues. If you have, poor memory, one day you're having a conversation with someone and you find yourself lost for words, or you're having a conversation with someone and you forget what they just said. You have to have them repeated. It's like you weren't able to focus. You weren't able to remember what it was they said. These are the kinds of things that happen to people. And once again, oftentimes it is just chalked up to, hey, you're getting older, or you have so much on your mind. You are so stressed. Is it any wonder that you can't remember where you leave your keys? Is it any one? That's not the type of thing that we want to live with. And especially as people get older. The other thing is people need to recognize and understand that if they have pets, or if they have a farm, if they have farm animals, they're exposed to parasites. There's just no two ways about it. And so when someone comes to me and I know that they have goats and sheep and chickens, and the first thing I say is, let's consider that it might be a parasitic issue. Because once again, studies have shown us that many of these brain fog symptoms can be directly related to parasites. So, you want me to talk about my gut protocol?
Yeah, and thank you for covering that.
Yeah.
No, she needs to talk. You muted her. Hold on. You got muted. Try again.
Oh, sleep disturbances. People who just can't get through the night. They just can't sleep through the night. They wake up, they're irritated, they're restless. This is a big thing, and this is a big thing for people to understand. If you wake up in the middle of the night and it's for no known reason, it's not because somebody turned the light on or somebody called you on the phone or anything like that. If you wake up for no known reason and you have this restlessness, you just can't seem to get back to sleep, you need to recognize that it could very well be parasites. And so, all of these things are chalked up to brain fog or old age, and sometimes that's not what the answer is. The answer is they have something going on. They have a parasite. So when I talk about the gut protocol, of course, the parasite protocol is separate from the gut protocol. But when I talk about the gut protocol, what I'm helping people do is first and foremost recognize the importance of a healthy diet. But then we need to make sure that the terrain within the gut is what it should be, or as it should be. And what do I mean by that? You need to have an abundance of good, healthy bacteria so that you don't have an overgrowth of unhealthy bacteria. So the protocol actually calls for a lot of probiotics, and people will question it and they'll say to me, oh my gosh, I need to take 4 billion units of probiotic. That seems like a lot to me. Well, what people need to understand is we actually kill off as many as 4 billion units. We actually kill that off every day just by living, just by being in our environment. And so what I'm doing when I'm using this protocol is I'm helping to flood the system with probiotics so we can actually catch up and keep up, if you will. Okay. Now, the other thing that this protocol calls for is a product that helps to eliminate what we recognize as the 26 strains of bad bacteria or unhealthy bacteria in the gut. So the protocol is twofold in as much as you're flooding the system with probiotics, but you're also getting rid of a lot of the unhealthy bacteria that are known to impact and affect human beings. And so by doing those two things, people see improvement in their symptoms in a very short amount of time. Oftentimes people will come back to me like in 7 days and say, oh my gosh, what have you done? I can't believe I feel so much better. And usually by the end of 20 days, people are markedly improved. Now, of course, we do the gut protocol. Again, we use our collagen. Our collagen is very important for helping to, again, rebuild and reestablish the villi in the gut, which are so important. But the other thing, too, is the recognition that doing the gut protocol is only part of it. What you really want to do is make sure you're taking the nutrients that are going to keep the body healthy. But the other thing to recognize is if you have an unhealthy gut, if you have an imbalance, you can take all the supplements you want. They're not going to be absorbed. And if they are not absorbed, they're not going to work for you. If you eat a healthy diet and it's not absorbed, it's not going to work for you. And if you don't have ample amounts of healthy bacteria, not so much unhealthy bacteria, you're not going to absorb the nutrients that you're taking in. So you won't absorb your supplements, you won't absorb your nutrients. Another thing that has been shown is people who take medications, they're not absorbing those either. They're not able to, I don't necessarily want everybody to be taking medications, but a lot of people do take medications. But so oftentimes what will happen is they'll start on a medication, they'll take it, gee, just doesn't seem to be working for me. So we up the dose. Gee, just doesn't seem to be working for me. So we up the dose. Well, what's happening? What's happening is that medication is coming into the gut, and because of the dysbiosis or the disruption in the bacterial balance, that medication isn't being absorbed. So it's not working. It's not doing what a person would expect for it to do. So I think it becomes important to understand that your gut impacts everything, literally everything. When we talk about the gut and the importance of gut health and the recognition that the gut impacts cardiovascular system, respiratory system, endocrine system, reproductive system, integumentary system, every system in the body is impacted by an unhealthy gut. Mostly because, once again, if it's unhealthy, you're not absorbing any healthy nutrition. So you can be trying as hard as you can and spending as much money as you want on supplements. But if your gut isn't working, those supplements are not going to do you any good.
Okay, so that's the gut protocol. So with the parasites is the additional component.
It's a totally different protocol. And a lot of times people will say to me, can I do both at the same time? Absolutely, you can do both at the same time. A lot of people elect to do just the parasite protocol by itself, which is fine. But then I strongly encourage the gut protocol after. And that's because we want to reestablish all that healthy terrain within the gut.
Exactly. And honestly, you'll feel like you need to do the gut protocol again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, I mean, I just kept on doing it and it made me feel so much better.
Sure.
So, yeah. So with the parasite protocol, there's herbals involved. And it's really important to pay attention to somebody that can help you through this process.
Absolutely. Oftentimes you'll go out on the internet and you'll see an article that says wormwood will do it. Well, wormwood is only one thing that will do it. And, in our protocol, we do have an herbal that I said is very important in as much as it is a product that will help with the drainage. So we have a product that has several things in it that help with getting parasites. And then we have a product that actually helps with the drainage and the removal of all of the toxins that parasites can cause. So it becomes important because so oftentimes the question, people have been out on the internet, they've done the research. Yeah, okay, I can do a parasite protocol, but I have to remember that I have to do activated charcoal or I have to do some binder. With our protocol, you do not. And I think that this is an important distinction to make. Not everybody does well on activated charcoal, but everyone seems to do just fine on the herbal that we use to help with the drainage system and to help things to get through the system. And this is a protocol that you have available for your listeners. Your listeners can contact you, get that protocol. You can certainly help them through it. But I think people need to understand it's not okay to just go out and find information on the internet and start using whatever the internet is saying that you should use. I really think that you need to do it with a health coach or someone who can guide you through a good, healthy protocol. And that's what we have. And that's what we've used for many, many years. Have we changed the protocol over the years? Periodically, yes, because we found that things have worked a little bit better. We tweak it one way or the other. The products we use are still the same. Sometimes the approach is a little bit different. But it's also, for a long time, we called it the full moon cleanse. And that was, again, for all the reasons that we talk about parasites on the full moon. Now we call it a dynamic duo because we have introduced that second product that helps with the drainage. And so it's a very helpful protocol. It is also a protocol that will address parasites no matter where your parasites. People think of parasites and they think they're all gut parasites. No, They're not. And so this will address whether your parasites are in your skin, whether they're in your eye, no matter where they are, whether they're on your brain. This protocol, I know it's a scary thought, but it's happened. So,
when is the brain? What kind of symptoms do people have? Brain fog?
Usually the symptoms will be severe headaches, sometimes blurred vision, sometimes ringing in the ears. And, when you stop and think about it, what is it in my brain that's causing the ringing in my ears? This is pretty freaky, okay? But that combined with restlessness is often a key indicator. If somebody comes to me and says, oh, I'm just having horrific headaches and I can't seem to get rid of them, and I'm having blurred vision or tunnel vision and it's really bothering me, or I'm having ringing in my ears and it seems to be happening all the time and I can't sleep at night and I wake up and I'm restless, that's an indicator. That to me says, let's consider that you may have parasites in the brain. And once again, people say, oh, well, I have to go to the doctor and find out for sure. No, not really. Let's do a parasite cleanse and see if your symptoms go away.
Yeah, that's what I do. Okay, we're coming up to time to talk about your offer. So what do you have for my audience today? Obviously, you already said you have a cleanse that you're going to give me that I can work with people with. But what else do you have?
Well, I also have my book, Why is America So Sick? And you can go out and get Why is America So Sick at my website, which is drjconaway.com.
Yeah, and there's a slide here. It's supposed to come up. I'm sorry. There's a slide here.
It's here. Oh, well, okay. It's running across the bottom. Okay. So Why is America So Sick? And this is a book I wrote a few years ago, linking digestive health to immunity and hormonal issues. That's only two of the things that you can actually link digestive health to. We know that there's so much more that goes on. But if you go out to my website, www.drjconaway.com, or use the QR code, you can order a copy of my book, and I'm happy to send that to you. The other thing that I offer people is a 30-minute complimentary consult. And again, go out to my website. We can do a consult, and then I'll refer you back to Debi and share with her what I have recommended for you, and she can help you get any products and any of the things that I recommend. My goal is to make sure that people understand the benefit of a healthy gut, and that they understand just how seriously ill they can become because they don't have a healthy gut. So oftentimes people just don't recognize it. And again, people say, oh, well, there's a lot of supplements that I can take that'll keep me healthy. There are a lot of supplements you can take to keep you healthy, but if they're not being absorbed, it's not going to work. Yeah. So those are the things.
You also have a 30-minute consultation too. That's complimentary. So,
right. And I will work with anyone. And like I say, once that consultation's over, I will refer back to you what I have recommended so that you can help the person get the supplements and products that they need and follow them through their protocol.
Yeah, and that's the same QR code on my website. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Joanne. And, you guys really need to purchase that book. I've really learned so much from that, and you'll too. I really appreciate you being a guest here today, and I will have you back. Will you stick around for closing remarks?
Sure.
Okay, fantastic. Now, remember, I do revitalize people's lives by helping them with their mindset and health. And pretty much what I'm doing is I'm going to start off with your gut as well as your mindset. If I can help you with your hormones, blood sugar, brain and heart, bone and joint, and immunity. I help people who are anxious up to athletes, because I am guiding you to clean, toxic-free foods and high-quality essential nutrient products. And you're going to feel better, possibly even release some weight like I did. I was on maintenance at 50 pounds, and I started changing my supplement plan, and I released another 20 pounds, and I also became that runner I told you about. All this is going to do is uplift your mood. Now, with my mindset coaching, I help you release that stress, emotions, emotional entanglements, and I'm with you as you are reshaping your core beliefs as a sounding board, and your mindset will be more enhanced. With my health optimization and weight release, your body's going to be more efficient. So that's the mind-body connection that makes your heart and soul sing. Ask me about my program. Set up a complimentary consultation at Debi Changes Lives, which is DEBICHANGESLIV as in victory ES.com/linktree, or use that QR code. And you'll get to know me. I get to know you, and I'll guide you to your optimum health. And it begins with 1 or 2 health assessments. The health evaluation is actually complimentary, where you're going to rate your symptoms in less 30 days in 4 categories of health. Some questions are in multiple categories. Answer them all. You get a baseline score. I will review it with you, and I'll create that custom natural holistic strategy that you want to work on, and we will monitor your progress on a monthly basis, see your improvement. I also have 2 different Zytos, 2 different body scans. I prefer to do the Vizira link because I actually can send it remotely and internationally, and it's gone to South Africa as well as Australia. Vizira link is a transdermal optical imaging app that I'm going to send you to your phone. You scan your face for 30 seconds. It's going directly in your skin to see your blood flow only for components of energetic, functional, emotional, and different body systems and lifestyles. What I really love about the emotional component is that it uses traditional Chinese medicine, mirroring an emotion like anger to liver. It's not a diagnosis, it's a wellness report where you can have biomarkers at different levels and products, and it's going to give you products and services to address those issues. You can get 50% off until the end of July by going to this site, which is at DEBI, then DebiChangesLives.com/Vizira with VISER golden voucher that you can apply to the scan, and will save you some money. And you can use that QR code or that link. And this is a transdermal optical imaging app, also known as TUI, and it's quite accurate. And go to pubmed.gov, PUBMED.gov for its accuracy. People are really amazed that what the scan tells them about their body, and you'll be too curious. Get it done, or ask me questions at my consultation site. There you'll find on my consultation site many of my programs. These are just a few. Take Your Body Back. It's also 20% off right now until the end of July. The code is summer. And with that, it's a 12-week weight release mindset coaching program where you're going to utilizing a new version of you to drive you to success. All coaching is done on Zoom, and the first one's private to you. Because I am a certified HIPAA health practitioner, anything that is an evaluation is private to you. I go over those evaluations. I also give you a choice between 3 different programs, as well as a natural approach to the GLP-1 with no injections and the side effects the medical model has. You choose one of these programs. I give you instructions, as well as I give you instructions how to create a new version of you that will drive you with emotion and passion to achieve your health and weight transformational goals throughout your journey. And that's in an avatar board. I give you directions on that. Then all the coaching is exactly the same, whether it's group or private. We'll be celebrating your wins. I'll be guiding you over gaps with health and mindset tips, and I'm going to help you show you how to use your boards. And of course, you can ask me questions. Now, Take Your Body Back. The way you get that 20% off is you go to this website, which is Debi, DEBI.Debi, DEBIChangesLives.com/Take Your Body Back as one word, with each word's first letter is capitalized. And that QR code, both of them will give you more information to see if that's really what you really want to do. And I also recommend that you contact me to ask me more questions about it. So feel free to contact me. Now, I also, for the do-it-yourselfers, I offer Y-Fast, which is an intermittent fasting program that gets your cells and body humming, in turn boosts your metabolism with rich, dense nutrition and high-quality essential nutrients. Also has a program of exercises and recipes. Here at the consultation site, you can ask me questions. If you feel like you need some coaching, you're more than happy to pay for coaching, a 2 or 4-week program to get you started. After that, you can pay for additional coaching only if you want to. With my mindset enhancement, as well as my health optimization, those are a little bit longer term journeys, but we can see if we can make it more customizable to you by starting you off with that shorter program, and then so you can save more money and save your time. I'm still offering Debi's coaching chats, which is a complimentary coaching session in an intimate group setting. And It's not recorded. A survey picks a topic. For the video audience, you can see the topics here. For the radio audience, you need to email me. You can use this QR code to sign up or use the link that I'm about to give you. This meeting is at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. You go to www.debichangeslives.com/chat. Finally, learn more about alternative health services, products, programs, offers, as well as, you need to go to the next slide. Program and offers, as well as articles, blogs, promos, and upcoming shows. And I give you a gift, a 30-day health and mindset daily action journal, which you can use the QR code as well. Now, this QR code or this link, you're going to be able to, with this journal, you can record your gratitude, thoughts, feelings, and emotions, as well as you can record the food, water, supplements, and exercise you do on a daily basis. You can even track your measurements. Then you want to review it on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to see your wins and celebrate them. And then find your wins, find your gaps, to work on. If you need help bridging that gap, contact me for coaching. I'm certain that you found this show educational, eye-opening about parasites. And reach out to me for my products, services, offers. Don't forget about the 2 summer promotions that end on July 31st. And reach out, and also if you want that cleanse protocol, and reach out to Dr. Joanne Conaway for her wonderful book. It's going to educate you quite a bit, as well as her 30-minute complimentary consultation. Do we have some time for her to come back?
I'm back.
Do you have anything else you want to say?
I just want to reiterate that I think it's important for people to recognize and understand just how important the health of the gut is. And that in order to maintain a healthy lifestyle, you must have a healthy gut. And I think it's also very important that people pay attention to the fact that they very well may have parasites. And as I said in the beginning, from my perspective, better out than in. It's not going to hurt you to do this parasite protocol. And I will be honest and tell you that the reports I get from people that do it are pretty startling. Startling to them primarily because they see things that they could never have imagined were living inside them. And once they've been expressed, either through the skin or through a bowel movement or whatever, they are encouraged to continue with the program, perhaps repeat the program, and make sure that all those parasites are gone. So again, I do it a couple times a year, just as a matter of course. Some people do it more often than that. Excuse me, people who are, all natural health practitioners like myself, it's a matter of routine for us. So
yeah, it's important to the book protocol only because it's going to make you feel so much better.
Right.
And once you get them out, then you're going to feel better. And doing it twice a year is a really fantastic idea.
And so many people experience weight loss doing it because, now those healthy foods that I'm eating, my body's getting that nutrition. The parasites are not stealing all that healthy food, and I am able to function better. I have energy. I have the fuel that I need to drive appropriate behavior, and they relax and start to lose weight.
Yeah. Because your body is stressed with all those parasites doing
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Especially if you have headaches from having parasites in the brain. That's just, can't believe that. Okay. Well, thank you for being on my show today. It was a lot of information, maybe some information that kind of gross people out, but it's important for you to understand that what these things can do and also what you can do about it. So thank you for being here.
Oh, it was a delightful day again, as it always is with you, Debbie. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Now, continue to join my radio and TV show, Debi Changes Lives, at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, where your holistic journey begins.